Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today we have a very special guest, Dr. Harmeek Singh, founder of Plan B and co-founder of the GCC Menopause Summit. Dr. Harmeek is back with us to discuss today the upcoming Women's Run 2024, taking place at Expo City on Sunday, November 3. This is an amazing, empowering event all about bringing women together through fitness and community. Here to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming back today.
Thank you for having me again.
Sorry to cut you off. Before anything, I want to ask if, let's say, like a woman that has not been into any runs in her life, why should they actually go to this run?
I think it starts with our first step, and I believe that probably it is not unknown that we have to actually have a bit of love for ourselves. So I think it's to love yourself. You need to take your first step, and it's not about only fitness. It's about actually being in that sync. Because what I believe is running is another level of fitness, because it's just not your health about your body, but like a mental health as well. So I think anyone who has not ran or anyone who's not taken a step before, they should start. The first step leads to beautiful journeys.
Love that. And I have to say, this was the event, by the way, last year, and it really was, I guess you could say, a vibe of just positive energy. And it's become quite a key event on the calendar every year. It's the major women's only running event. But what inspires you to keep doing it? Do you see personal stories that you say, I want to make sure that this happens every year? What's your inspiration?
I think it's a passion-driven thing, and again, it has not something to do with that I organize this event. It's a whole lot of other people as well behind this as well. So since the time that probably this has been initiated, the kind of smiles, the kind of success story that I am being seeing, it has become like a movement. And the movement with a platform like this is this strong that now the building is growing from vertical to the horizontal part. The stories that probably I may resonate is that Amira Jaber, who's the founder of Fit Moms for Today, having cancer survivors, cancer warriors to actually just come up and not being looking at a phase of their life to be over, but then again having a buddy, having somebody who actually just gets along with you to start running, and that's a way of living. I see that probably that changes a complete mindset, a complete story of somebody who needs to probably look at what's the next chapter. Maria Cristina, who's been somebody who has been sponsoring from the third world countries, a lot of students, a lot of people that probably also are part of it. We support her all those years. Last year, 20 ambassadors, or sorry, conductors from Jeb School was a part of that as well. We brought in 20 women from rural India, from the villages of India, to run for the first time ever, actually being on an airplane for the first time as well. Wow. So that's the kind of things. And you know, you're bringing the society to have an equation where everybody feels that they're equal. Women supporting women. There's a lot of things that probably that resonates with what I believe in and what my team and everybody believes in. So I think Women's Run is here to stay.
Well, you co-founded the first GCC Summit regarding the menopause. So how does that relate to the Women's Run? And how does it support women in the different stages of their life?
So I would like to take the tag that's been given to me, man supporting women. So we have started this campaign, and this has actually been something being successful, with the fact that probably we have always been looking at what the world is going through, but then again, core issues. Like I've just been so happy and pleasantly looking at news that probably just comes up just a few days ago when we had the UN represented in UAE. We were talking about how gender equality is such a big thing, and we proposed and we are advocating for gender equality in this part of the world. Having a big corporate, every board member, or at least one board member, has to be a woman. So this actually just relates to what we have been like. In this part of the world, we learn a lot of things, and this is one thing that I've learned as well that was hidden. But then again, a woman-centric issues have never been discussed. The first GCC Menopause Summit is such a big thing for me as well, breaking stereotypes. When people don't talk about it, let men also talk about that. And this is something that also relates to when we talk about a woman's health, mental health as well in Women's Run. So it equates that the causes may be different, the platforms may be different, but then again, it's the women-centric issues that probably we do definitely back.
Waving the flag for men supporting women, I think, is so interesting. And when did you start that, and did you get any, I guess, eyebrow raises? Because if the conversations don't happen, no one says anything. But the awareness is so important. So I just wonder that when you started waving the flag, was there ever any pushback, or was it an easy avenue for you?
Anything that you probably start talking about which is not a norm, or which is not something people actually just understand or relate to, which is not something that probably people have been like looking at, that it's always been there. So breaking a stereotype has always been something that probably it's never going to be easy. But I think it is to do with that the position that I have come into. So I can speak my mind, I can talk about things and things that probably I relate to. It's something that probably it's without a mask. So I did see that there was some reservations. People might probably just not like it. People might probably just have anything that they don't like to probably talk about it. But I think in a very humble way, they can't do that on my face anymore. So maybe behind my back.
And when you say the position you've come into, could you clarify what you mean by that?
I think a lot of years been done with the fact that probably when you create things that have been on a right track, then you have lesser people to actually oppose you. So I think that's where I believe that the right tracks and the right version has got a lot of people to support you as well. So it is turning up, and I'm so happy to see that a lot of men have actually put up their hand.
You know what? I love how humble you are in that response, but obviously, as a visionary in leadership, what he's humbly saying is, when you're a boss, you can make these, you can say things, and hopefully that your company will get behind you. But you can make that when you've gotten yourself to a certain place in business.
I think it's to do also where you just mentioned as a boss. I don't think I'm a boss. I'm a leader, and a leader's responsibility is to form and build more leaders. And for that, you have to empower, and that begins with walking the talk. So this is where I believe that if I'm empowering my team, my people around me, that only just brings in with a lot of light, candles, lighting more candles.
Speaking of the run, some events can feel very exclusive and intimidating, specifically for beginners. So how can women of all backgrounds and fitness levels feel welcome?
See, we've had this thing by making this to grow and to reach out to the grassroots level. So all fitness groups, mostly in this part of the world, they have joined hands with us and looking at training camps that probably every week, like people like at the park, 5:30 groups, all the running groups are backing us up on this one to make sure that women are welcomed. Where women are not only welcome, but then again also to be somewhere down the line pushed that bring a buddy with you. Have this to be put across that probably this is something that you are doing. Trust me, what happens is that we are not looking at any influencers on this. Everybody is an influencer in this as well. Why? Because I believe when people relate to people around them, when they see, oh, if she can do it, I can do it as well. That is a more relevant portion for what I see the people have started to look at. And this is growing. And the welcome part about this is, it's not about how your body weight is right now, what your stamina is. It's just about the first step. And trust me, when you do that, you feel so good. It's a part of self-esteem. If you look at running, it's in a way hugging yourself. It's in a way making sure that probably when you feel that kind of a positivity with you, you're with yourself, and that's very important.
100% agree with you. You mentioned partnerships in terms of running clubs, but I also know that you've partnershiped with groups such as Heroes of Hope and Moms of Hope. Could you speak a little bit on that and why you've decided to create that partnership?
We have got a society where we actually just look at the headlines. We look at what we actually find. There's so much content these days. We talk about things that probably are maybe newsworthy. But what about the things that are not newsworthy? What about the things that people don't talk about, where like caregivers or things that probably have been a section of society that has not been looked upon? We want to have that with the objective for Women's Run is not limited. And again, I'm going to voice it out. It's not just not a run. It's a movement. It's a community platform. So we'd like to see that all those platforms that probably have not been spoken about to be brought in front. And this is something that we believe that each year there are going to be additions and things that we can talk about.
I love that you've taken caregivers on board as a group that you just, I guess, want to raise a flag for and empower them with this. Yes. When did that start? And I guess what's the response been like? Because I can imagine that it must feel so uplifting for caregivers to see that they're being supported.
It has started like on our vision. We look at that we are always doing our homework on looking at what we can add on, because when you are actually in a way, let's look at gaming right now. So gaming, if you reach to a level, the next time you want to play, you want to go to the next level. So we're raising the bar each time. We look at what sectors, how we can actually get more people to be a part of it. How do we actually have the messaging become more stronger, so that it has been relatability for everybody from every corner of the society. So it started from past couple of years. We've been trying to do this, and making sure that we are reaching out to the right people. And this happened so very easily when we were reaching out and they were open towards this. And now it is a good response because everybody's being represented. I spoke about the bus conductors. I spoke about the women from the villages, rural India, where they've not even worn shoes, proper shoes, running shoes. They were here to run. So we're trying to see that this has got that power, that kind of a alignment, that it gets you into a self-belief, that also gets you into kind of a power position that, okay, I can do this. And you do not know, when you have a self-belief, magic happens.
Well, do you think that the fitness industry is doing enough for women of like with different body types, and as well life stages?
I think fitness industry is in line with what is happening at the moment, with a lot of commercial side to it as well. But then again, has it been like looked upon as a clear understanding of what one needs to do? Because there's a lot of clutter over there as well. I think we need to probably do a little bit more with the counseling. We need to do a little bit more with the openness and making it welcoming for everybody to be a part of it. Also to look at the commercial side at times. If a woman, or we talk about anybody for that matter, if they do not earn a part of that where probably they can actually take care of themselves, I think they have a right to do that as well. So I think we need to be a little bit more open towards looking at having an openness towards having all those people to be a part of this as well.
So interesting that you say that, because we know that the Power Hour brings great energy from university students. So how do we make sure that it's open to all ages, for example, older women or people who haven't ran before?
I just mentioned that earlier, that all our running groups, they are working as passionately as they can every weekend, every week, that they have running groups from all age groups to be a part of it, and they're training. And I see a lot of happy faces, and a lot of content that comes to us is like very heartwarming, and it is only an indication that we are on the right track.
So that's, I guess, the preparation process is get involved in these running groups now, once or twice a week, or do you have, how many times do I need to run to prepare myself?
That's available on our channels, and I think that there are special sessions now been held, because as we are just few days away from the run. But I think it also begins with the fact that you do not need any trainers. It's something that you can begin on your own. The easiest way of getting yourself into the fitness part is running, is jogging. Put your headphones on and go on. Nobody stops you.
Well, what is like your long-term vision for the women's zone? Like, where do you see it continuing to empower women in the UAE and maybe some other countries?
So, Women's Run, if you might relate to it, it is not limited to a city anymore. We're not only just looking at Dubai, but then again, Women's Run has become like a plan that we are already looking at going regional in talks. So maybe next year I'm going to be again sitting on the seat telling you about what editions we have had. So I think you will be hearing things about the regional part, but also we're looking at collaborating with international runs and looking at where we can actually position ourselves, making sure that this is a movement that is growing, and collaboration may also just look at this as an international feature.
Speaking about a movement that's expanding, I know that every year there's differences and changes, and this year there's an anthem. Can you speak a little bit about that? I wish we could play it, but we don't have the capabilities on the show, but we can play it after maybe.
Yeah, no, thank you for reminding me on that, because that's something that has been a massive addition to us, because I've been listening to it every day morning. So it is an anthem that we have from our cultural ambassador, Ahmed Al-Hassani, who has been very kind to lend his voice as an Emirati singer. And I think that's where probably men supporting women part comes into play. And he was so excited about this as well. It is going into a good vibe with everybody to probably pick it up. And again, I think an anthem gives you a kind of a relatability that the event is just not an event. It's a way of living. So that's what we have got. She shines and she does.
Oh, I like that.
She certainly does. It's one step, it's a smile, it's a movement, it's more than a run. It's happening on November 3rd at Expo City, Dubai Women's Run 2024. Thank you so much for the lowdown, and we hope to see you there.
You have to be. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And again, looking forward for Lovin Dubai team and everybody else listening to us or seeing us today. Be there.
I certainly will be. Definitely get down, get your tickets. It's the run of the year for women in Dubai and across the region. So definitely get your tickets now. That brings us to the end of our show on this Friday morning. Thank you both for being here. And we'll see you on Monday morning. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.